Welcome back to the show. Now, do you ever get ESP about someone or something, or perhaps messages from those who've passed over? If you have psychic abilities, you might want to develop them, like our next guests. Please welcome psychic Rose Smith, who joins us from Brisbane, and in the studio, one of her students, Sandra Montgomery. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. Rose, we might start with you. Are we all a little bit psychic, but we just haven't developed our skills yet?
Yes, I believe everybody is a bit psychic. It depends on the person as to whether they're open to it or not, but we can all certainly develop our skills to a higher level.
So, Rose, one ability is clairvoyance. How do you learn to see things?
Yes, so there are a number of different abilities, but with clairvoyance, which basically means clear sight, it's a matter of being open and just allowing those visions to come into your mind without judgment. We all have this sort of tendency to judge what goes on in our heads and outside our heads. So we need to suspend judgment so we're not judging ourselves.
Sandra, you've been working with Rose. What was it that made you think I've got this ability?
Because I started experiencing spirits and seeing images.
In what way?
In candle flames and windowsills, anywhere, just look.
You had a small bird visit you, was that right?
Yes, my pet bird, yeah.
Wow, and how did that give you kind of insight into maybe you having psychic abilities?
Because I actually do feel spirits. So it just happened when I lost my mum. So I believe I did have it as a child, but I've blocked it out. Mm-hmm. And Rose helped me to sort of accept it, not be afraid.
Rose, sometimes I have a little bit of deja vu. I might have a dream and then the next day it sort of happens.
Yes.
But what we just heard Sandra describing was mediumship, where messages from the other side come through to people. How do you know if you've got that sort of ability?
Well, sometimes it just happens sort of spontaneously. You may not be, expecting it. You might be just laying in bed one day and then you become aware of somebody who's passed who, they might be somebody very important to you. And so mediumship is basically all about the ability to communicate with those that have passed and to pick up their communications and messages to you.
Rose, plenty of us get like a gut feeling. Is that actually a psychic skill, and should we listen to it?
Yes, it most definitely is a psychic skill, and it might not necessarily even be in the gut. It could be like hairs on the back of your neck or down your back or on your arms sort of coming up. If you walk into, say, for example, a dangerous situation, your body is trying to tell you something, and there might be no reason why, no reason that, everything looks completely safe and yet you've got this danger kind of feeling. Definitely should listen to it. And it's called clairsentience, and that means clear presence. It's the ability of the body to pick up energy.
Isn't that just intuition, and don't we all have that?
Well, everybody has it to some extent. It's a matter of being open to it, though, and really trying to develop your own skills so that you can get that to a higher level so that you really understand what's going on.
Sandra, are tarot cards a good place to start?
They are, yeah, because initially I wasn't too much into them, but I've started reading for family and friends, and it's just amazing that whatever questions they've asked, the answers have resonated with them.
Yeah. How interesting. So is that where you're focusing at the moment? Do you focus on an area?
Not too much in that. I'm just only starting that in the last couple of months, but mine is mainly starting to see and feel. I feel now starting to see as well.
Of course, there are lots of skeptics who say that this is just mumbo jumbo. Yeah. I'm kind of on the fence because sometimes I do have those funny kind of witchy feelings that something might be wrong. But your family, what do they say about you honing your psychic skills?
Well, initially they didn't believe, like a lot of skeptics, because it's something unless you experience it. Now that I'm coming on the show, they're showing some interest. So,
have you used your abilities to predict the future at all, or to point the living in the way, sort of help people cross over? What have you used your abilities for?
I've used the card for my sisters, and she wanted to know if her relationship was going to get back together. She was going to get back, and she did, but in a different way, which I pulled from the cards. And that's exactly what's happened with her. There's a lot, but I can't remember all.
Alrighty, well, if you would like to know more about Rose's work, you can head to absolutesoulsecrets.com. Rose and Sandra, thank you very much for joining us today. We do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, coming up, Danny Minogue is in the building. Do not go anywhere. We'll see you in a moment, Australia.